my name is Kay, like the letter. Superstar doesn't even begin to describe the person I'm going to tell you about today. So in light of Black History Month coming to its perpetually short ending, even though we get an extra day this year, yippee! I would like to shed some light on one incredible entertainer all around. Her name is Eartha Kitt. And you've definitely seen and or heard her in one way or another. She's a powerhouse of a performer, with sultry vocals to a classy sex appeal. The hardships that this woman has been through bear nothing in comparison to the full and positive life that she made for herself and the legacy that she's built. Born in South Carolina on January 17, 1927, as a Capricorn, she was ruled by the element of earth, in which she was appropriately named. But being birthed on a sharecropper plantation to a teenage mother of Black and Cherokee descent did not fare well for her upbringing. Often described as a yellow gal by people around her, she felt as though she didn't fit in with the Black or white communities. But growing up in Harlem from ages 8 to 16 is where she began to thrive and feel welcome. She attended a performing arts high school where she was able to find her footing as a performer. By age 16, she was traveling the world with the famous Catherine Dunham dance troupe. From the United States to Mexico to several countries in South America and Europe, including cities like London and Paris, is where she began to gain notoriety. After dancing with the troupe for 5 years, they made their way back to North America. Miss Kitt decided to stay in Paris, becoming not only fluent in French, but becoming a popular act amongst Parisian nightclubs. She was thrusted into her acting debut in 1950, where she played Helen of Troy in Orson Welles' Time Runs, an adaptation of Dr. Faustus. From here, they sustained a beautiful and long-standing friendship where Welles would describe her as the most exciting woman in the world. She then took on various theater ensemble roles throughout the 1950s, but landed another lead as Theodora Teddy Hicks in the Broadway production of Mrs. Patterson. She then went on to reprise this role in the BBC TV movie adaptation. It parallels her life in a way, playing a young girl in the American South who dreams of becoming a star in the big city, which she actually accomplishes tenfold. Other theatrical performances include Shinbone Alley, Jolly's Progress, and Timbuktu. In 1953 would Eartha really establish her popularity as the jazzy, multilingual recording artist, dropping the legendary Christmas record, Santa Baby. Following this bombshell came some other popular hits, C'est Si Bon and I Wanna Be Evil, off of her first album, RCA Victor Presents Eartha Kitt. This project really enforced her French literacy and Paris influence. She happened to speak 4 languages and sing in a total of 11, including French, English, Dutch, Swedish, and German, to name a few. We know her voice to be powerful and distinctive when it came to her ballads and performances. However, she also used her voice for activism and speaking up about societal issues as well. In 1968, she spoke out against the Vietnam War at the Women Doers Luncheon hosted by First Lady Lady Bird Johnson. The war was in its 13th year at the time, and Kitt, who had donated her time to youth organizations, had a direct acknowledgement about the feelings and fears about said war. She said, and quote, "You send the best of this country off to be shot and maimed. They rebel in the streets. They will take pot and they will get high. They don't want to go to school because they're going to be snatched off from their mothers and be shot in Vietnam." A very powerful statement to be spoken from a woman of color at the time. I commend her because she said what a lot of people were thinking but just not brave enough to share. This unfortunately did cause a derailment in Eartha's career and caused her to gain unsavory attention from the CIA for at least a decade. But her response was, "I have nothing to be afraid of and I have nothing to hide." However, this was a small price to pay for pinpointing the injustices of the White House and the U.S. government nearly half a century ago. Not only did she advocate for anti-war policies, she advocated for the LGBTQ+ communities, stating, "We're all rejected people. We know what it is to be refused. We know what it is to be oppressed, depressed, and then accused. And I am very much cognizant of that feeling. Nothing in the world is more painful than rejection." I hear ya. Even though, as a biracial woman in the 20th century, she gave back to the community by founding the Kittsville Youth Foundation alongside Ella Mae Evans in 1966. Which, according to their website, started as a response to the utter frustration, desolation, hopelessness, and anger that remained after the 1965 Watts riots that took place in the Watts neighborhood of Los Angeles, California. This nonprofit is a free dance program that helped underprivileged children reach their full potential by embracing the power and cultural significance of dance within the African diaspora. She was a woman for the community whom we should thank and model after. But back to the spotlight. In the new millennium, Miss Kitt took on roles that the younger generation might recognize her from. She played the charming villainess Yzma from Disney's Emperor's New Groove, and the spin-off series Emperor's New School.
I'll put that flea in a box, and then I'll put that box inside of another box, and then I'll nail that box to myself. And when it arrives, I'll smash it with a hammer.
I still quote that very regularly. She also played Madame Zeroni, the great aunt from Disney's 2003 film adaptation of Louis Satcher's Holes. By the way, I did rewatch recently and it aged like fine wine. Eartha would then pride herself on the life that she lived in the years leading up to her death. She often reminisced about the woman she was and the woman that she grew into, marveling in her own impact, just oozing confidence. She left behind one incredible and beautiful daughter, Kit Shapiro, who immortalizes her mother's work and words with a foundation called Simply Eartha, where she transforms quotes of Eartha into timeless garments and jewelry. She also speaks on her mother's legacy with fondness, and I'm sure that she's proud of the woman that she is because of her, and vice versa. In the words of Shapiro, Eartha would often introduce them both as, "I'm Eartha, and this is Kit," as if her daughter completed her, which is a beautiful and heartwarming sentiment to behold. Eartha Kitt was a strong and empowering woman in Black culture, way ahead of her time, inspiring girls like myself and others. Her love for herself, coupled with her passion and drive for success, despite her obstacles, make her an honorable figure and role model to women of every creed. From her talent,
Yes, my heart belongs to Daddy, 'cause my daddy, he treats it so well.
to her humor,
Going, so I joined the class and went,
to her humility, advocacy, and empathy. Her heart of gold touched millions to this day. If we could all take a page out of Eartha's book, the earth would definitely be a better place. I'm so glad to have existed in the universe at the same time that Eartha did. And I'm more than honored to have a piece of her reflect in me by loving myself and my art. She is the epitome of go with the flow. So I'll end this off by quoting the superstar. The river is constantly turning and bending, and you never know where it's going to go and where you'll end up. Following the bend in the river and staying on your own path means that you are on the right track. Don't let anyone deter you from that. So thank you, Miss Eartha, for sharing your warmth and love and talent with the world.
Crazy, no?
Voilà, c'était mon